G'day Virtual Pilots, it's Requiem, and today we're going to have a look at the Sopwith Dolphin. Starting off with the water radiator on the side, there's a handle that controls the door, and when this door is open or closed, it regulates the amount of airflow that's allowed in to be used for engine cooling. Here's the mixture control. Forward is rich and back is lean, and the other handle is the throttle. Underneath is the fuel selector. Down on the floor is the fuel gauge. We have the engine starter crank. Going up to the top, got the tachometer. Coming down, got the magnetic compass, an inclinometer, and the clock. On the lower left of the panel, got the coolant temperature and the magnetos, an air pressure gauge. And over on the right, got an airspeed indicator in miles per hour, an altimeter in feet, and the cockpit light. That's pretty much it. So now we'll just look at starting the engine. For this, you need to set the mixture to rich. So we'll go down to the lower left, get the mixture all the way to rich. Press E to start. The engine crank will start over, and the engine will turn on. So now we'll look at the pilot's notes for the Sopwith Dolphin. So now the engine's started, we'll get ready for taxi. I need to lean out the mixer just a little bit. So bring that lever back just a touch. Open up the water radiator all the way, so we allow that airflow to get in. Then once you're ready for taxi, you're going to increase the RPM to maybe 15 or 1600, but then once you start rolling, we pull it back to about 12 to 1300, and that'll keep you moving at a decent speed. So we pull the power back, we just keep it there, that'll keep us moving nice and easy. So it's going to be a pretty short taxi over to the field where we're going to take off from. Just making sure we're clear around us. Got enough room over to the left now, so we can bring it over with some left rudder. Not too sharp of a turn as we have decent speed going. And once we're lined up, just add full power and we start rolling. In order to maintain directional control, you might need to use some right rudder. You can also add some forward pressure on the stick to get that tail skid off the ground, remove that drag. Once you reach about 55 miles per hour, you can add some back pressure. We'll rotate and take off. Remember, just like with the Sopwith Camel, that inclinometer will tell you when you're flying coordinated. So in order to stay coordinated when you're flying the Dolphin, you need to step away from the bubble, and that'll help keep it in the center. So I'm going to be doing a climb out at about 70 miles per hour. Then I'll make a left turn to stay in the pattern and look at how to land the Sopwith Dolphin. To land in the Sopwith Dolphin, on downwind, you'll set your RPM to about 1300, and you'll close the water radiator to keep the engine warm. This will slow your airspeed to about 70 miles per hour, and then by the end of downwind, we'll cut the throttle to idle, and we're going to base the final turn with an airspeed between 65 and 70 miles per hour. You can see we've reduced the throttle to keep the RPM at about 1300. Close the water radiator, so we're going to block that airflow. This will help keep the engine warm during the low power settings and during our descent. We'll try and maintain a close enough distance to the field where if I lost power I could make the glide in. So I'm just getting a little bit closer and correct out to the right a little bit, get parallel again. So we're coming up about a beam at the end of the field. So we just check that, looks good. So now we'll just pull the power to idle. The nose is going to want to drop, so just let the nose come down and we'll settle between 65 and 70 miles per hour. and we'll begin our base to final turn. Now these World War I airplanes will glide for a little while, so we want to make sure that we're not just going to turn it straight in to final. We'll also end up flying a long way down the field with all the extra altitude that you end up having. So it's going to be a very slow and gradual turn all the way around, and as we're gliding, we're just trying to visualize that aiming point and adjusting our flight path to get us there. Now if you remembered from the landing notes, I had a note in there about watching where your head position is during landing. This is because if you want to improve visibility by flying with your head above the wing, if you keep this position above the wing, then you'll end up killing yourself if the Dolphin ends up flipping on its back, because your head will strike the ground. So it's going to be important that you want to make sure that your head is going to be at least underneath the bar. Right, so as we're coming down on a short final, still just going to hold that airspeed, just fly towards the field. I'm still at idle power. So as we come in, getting towards the round out, start leveling the plane off, get up in a 3-point attitude, we'll touch down. Then we'll hold full back pressure on the elevator. This will help keep the tail skid locked into the ground. The Dolphin also has a steerable tail skid, so using some power with the rudder along with that tail skid, that'll help you maintain directional control and keep straight. So that pretty much covers the Sopwith Dolphin, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm always interested in hearing what you guys think about these videos, so you can let me know with a like button or a comment, and don't forget you can be a subscriber, that way you can get these new videos as they're released.